This mansion is where Michael Jackson lived and passed away in 2009. Just a short distance away is the home of another music mogul, American rapper Sean Diddy Combs.
Don't worry if I write rhymes, I write.
And this is where our story begins.
There have been times where I don't post anything for my dad's birthday, and people lose their minds. They tell me to kill myself, and they're basically measuring my love for my own father based off of what I post.
Beyonce.
Mr. Michael Jackson is here to see him. I chit-chat, and so right there he has his arm, bring that up so they can see his arm around me, but then you don't see the shot of him whispering in my ear. Right after the shot was taken, he whispers in my ear, he says, "Where's Beyonce?"
Really? Obviously, you know, this is a really sad time right now, but we're celebrating his life. Your thoughts right now on the situation and the timing of this tragedy?
Yeah, I mean, you know, he's just somebody that changed my life. You know what I'm saying? Somebody I'll always love and cherish.
In a courtroom revelation that has sent shockwaves through the entertainment industry, Paris Jackson unveiled a chilling letter from her father, Michael Jackson. A letter that not only warned her of hidden dangers in the music world, but also hinted at a shadowy figure known only by the initials SC. How can we decipher the hidden meaning behind this strange insignia? What secrets did the late pop king Michael Jackson try to protect his daughter from? And how are the dots all connecting back to Sean Diddy Combs?
No matter what it was we were interested in, at one point I wanted to be an astronaut. He was like, do it. Do it, you know, educate yourself as much as possible and then go with it, with every aspect of life.
Grew up going to Kingdom Hall, which is the church for Jehovah's Witnesses, but my dad, he used to always emphasize knowledge is power. And so I just always wanted to learn new things.
And I remember him saying that in a lot of ways, you're most like your dad. In what ways would you say that is?
That is so sweet. You'd have to ask him. I think maybe it had to do with my love for music. Hopefully my sense of humor, I don't know. Another one that I got that was very discreet was I got my father's birthday and Roman numerals on my wrist.
The letter was written in early 2008, just a little over a year before he died. Michael didn't even start it with Dear Paris. He just began writing, almost like he was in a rush to get everything out. There are people in this industry I was told to never name, he wrote, but your safety means more to me than silence.
You were actually number 2, unfortunately, I'm sorry. First time was Alice Cooper.
Alice Cooper?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Last October, he played on Halloween with Depp and Butch Walker, and I got to meet him backstage, and I was sitting probably this close, where you were at was where he was at, and I was telling him I love you so much, you know, I've always listened to you, I grew up loving you, and I was close to tears. I started
You're almost crying right now. Oh my gosh.
I'm crying thinking about it. He's amazing. And
wow.
So I either really weirded him out, but he was really nice about it. He was
He's funny, dude.
He was yeah, right on, dude.
The whole letter felt like a warning, like a father trying to protect his daughter from something dark. He talked about places up in the hills, places that looked like music studios, but weren't. He said no music was played there, just silence and rules. Then he mentioned someone strange, someone he called SC. He didn't say what the initials stood for, he just wrote, "He is a system. If you see him, don't sing." People in the room didn't know what to say. It felt like a ghost had spoken.
Social media is apparently how people express their love and affection these days. And if you don't wish someone a happy birthday via social media, it apparently means that you don't love them, you don't care about them. There have been times where I don't post anything for my dad's birthday, and people lose their minds. They tell me to kill myself, and they're basically measuring my love for my own father based off of what I post on Instagram. So I made you guys a little video, and I hope you enjoy it. It's also my dad's birthday. And he would have been 65 years old today. And he put 50 years of blood, sweat, and tears, and love and passion into doing what he did so that I could stand up here on stage in front of you and scream.
After Paris read the letter in court, people started whispering about the strange initials, SC. It didn't take long before federal investigators got involved. They'd already been looking into things surrounding Sean Combs, but this letter opened up something new. It was like someone had left behind little pieces of a puzzle, and now they were starting to come together.
Father's birthday and Roman numerals on my wrist. When he was young, he would be in the studio and he'd look outside and he'd see kids on the playground, and he couldn't do that.
And he didn't want that for us, so we wore masks. And I appreciated it. It was nice, because we were able to go to like Chuck E. Cheese and Circus, and we could be normal.
I don't know. I read so much because that was like our form of currency growing up. Like my brothers and I, like my dad wanted us to
like trading books.
Well, not necessarily. So we weren't just like handed things.
In the letter, Michael didn't say Sean Combs out loud. He never used his name, but he gave him another name, one that sounded soft but scary. He called him the Velvet Hand. Paris told the court that her father said, "This person makes you feel special, almost like you've been picked for something big. But then, when you least expect it, they take something from you, something deeper than money or fame." Michael wrote, "They make you feel chosen, right before they take what they really came for." No one in the courtroom moved. It was like they were all holding their breath.
Things. Like we lived life in like a silver spoon kind of way. Like we literally had everything. I never had to worry about like my next meal or roof over my head, whatever it was. Like I got to see the world, but things weren't just like the good stuff wasn't just like thrown at us. We had to like work for it. So our dad had us use like books as currency. So it's like, oh, if we're going to FAO Schwartz and you want 5 toys, well, you have to read 5 books and I will quiz you on it. And so I like read all 7 Chronicles of Narnia in a week. Like
really?
I woke up at 6 a.m., read the first book, finished it by bedtime, and then next day did the same thing. And in 7 days, I finished the whole
shit.
And that was like, I got 7 toys. You know what I mean? Like that was that was our currency. We like had to earn it.
Paris also talked about something her father always warned her about. Not the usual music lessons or studio work, but something different. He called it training, but he said it wasn't about singing. It was about control. He told her to stay away from certain places, especially ones with strange mirrors and quiet rooms with no corners.
Diddy is currently in jail, facing serious charges related to sex trafficking and racketeering. Days after Diddy's arrest, a conspiracy theory has emerged online suggesting there is a secret underground tunnel at his mansion that connects to Michael Jackson's home. According to one version of the story, a neighbor sent an anonymous tip to federal officers about unusual activity at Diddy's house. When the agents arrived, Diddy's team reportedly prevented them from entering.
In some of his personal notes, Michael wrote about mirrors that didn't show your reflection right. He said they showed you something else, offers hidden in plain sight, papers you could sign without even realizing what they meant. Later on, someone found a real contract from a label that used to work with Bad Boy Entertainment. Buried deep inside, there were strange phrases like influence conditioning and resonance dampening. It didn't sound like music stuff at all. It sounded like something that messed with people's minds. Like they were trying to train artists to act a certain way and forget who they really were. And all of it was hidden under the name of branding.
That was our currency. We like had to earn it. And books are like knowledge is power is what he used to say. And
my first, I guess, thoughts and experiences, you know, like I didn't know that it was a thing. And so I was a little conflicted about it because all I'd ever seen were men and women on TV together. And so these thoughts didn't really make sense to me, but my dad caught on pretty quick. I think he just felt the energy and he would like kind of tease me the same way that he would tease my brothers. Like, oh, you got yourself a girlfriend. If like we're staring at a magazine of a woman too hard, you know, like you'd be like, oh, you like her, you know, which was, I'm very lucky to have that, especially like so young. I think I was like 8 or 9. Because not many children have that experience.
Paris was just stepping into adulthood when the message arrived. She was 18, living between Los Angeles and New York, trying to figure out if she even wanted to be part of the music world her father had warned her about. One morning, she got an email from someone calling themselves Luca S. The tone wasn't casual, it was formal, almost rehearsed. He said he worked with a private music consortium, whatever that meant. He told her something strange. That her father had cleared the path for her years ago and that now it was her turn. The phrase he used was, "You were born to be a message carrier." Paris didn't respond. She said she just stared at the message for a long time and felt sick.
An interview, and one of the questions asked was, they wanted me to list bands and artists that influenced the sound that my band does.
Some people were really upset that I didn't put my father on that list. The question was not, who do you think is a musical genius? It wasn't, whose music changed your life? It wasn't, name some of the greatest artists of all time. The question was, which artists influenced the way you sound? Naturally, I chose folk artists. By not putting my father on the list, in no way.
There was something cold about it. Not excited or supportive, just clinical, like someone moving chess pieces. Her father had warned her about people like that, about offers that didn't feel real, and about roles you didn't understand until it was too late. Within weeks of ignoring the email, she said her world started changing, slowly at first. A magazine shoot she had scheduled was canceled with no explanation. A fashion line she had signed with suddenly dropped her. Reporters who used to write glowing profiles now called her erratic or lost. She hadn't done anything differently, but something had shifted behind the scenes. She said it felt like someone flipped a switch.
On the list. In no way am I not acknowledging the musical genius he is. I'm not trying to discredit him in any way. I'm not trying to avoid acknowledging everything that he's done for me. And while I have worked very hard to grow my platform, that platform wouldn't exist in the first place if it was not for him. I'm not ignoring these facts. So I choose these. I mean, like, my dad did shit with Carlos Santana and Eddie Van Halen, you know, pop, rock, soul, some of the greatest music of all time. And I'm over here with a fucking banjo and mandolin. Totally different thing. Some people have taken screenshots.
Paris told the court, "I went from being a legacy to being labeled unstable, just like he warned me." She remembered her father telling her years earlier that some people would try to erase her light by making her doubt her mind, not because she did anything wrong, but because she chose not to play along. She realized this was never about fame or failure, it was about obedience, about saying yes when they ask, even if you don't understand what you're agreeing to. And when she said no, quietly, politely, they made sure the world thought something was wrong with her. The punishment wasn't physical, it was silence, isolation, and a slowly closing door.
On an award show, when he got his award, he's like, these artists do so much and these companies take advantage of them. I'm leaving, I think it was Sony he has? He basically owns Sony. Because he has 50% of whatever Sony makes.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm leaving, I don't think they'll like this. So how does this relate to Diddy? His head security, his name is Fahan. He was Michael Jackson's head security.
So he snuck a spy in?
Fahan, he's like the Lester, people are saying, in GTA.
Yeah.
Because whenever you're employed by Diddy and you get into police or you get pulled over, you call Fahan and he'll get you out of everything. So they had police help.
Michael Jackson didn't just try to protect his daughter with words. He left behind pieces of himself in the quietest ways. Little things that didn't make sense at the time. Toys, drawings, books with notes in the margins. Each one seemed ordinary until you looked closer. That's when you'd notice tiny clues. Circles around certain words, numbers written upside down, or messages so faint they barely showed on the page unless you held them to the light.
To be on top of one of the 7 tattoos I have for my dad. I have 7 tattoos for him. People are really not upset that I hurt myself, but upset that this specific scar is on top of this tattoo. And I'd like to clarify that it has nothing to do with him. It has nothing to do with the tattoo. It has everything to do with me, my struggles, my issues with self-harm that I have overcome. People are accusing me of having like resentments and issues with my father. If that was the case, I would just get the tattoo removed. You know, or all 7 of them removed.
Paris spoke about a teddy bear her father gave her when she was 9. She loved it because it played music when she hugged it. But years later, after he passed, she opened it out of curiosity. Inside the soft stuffing was a small black chip sewn deep inside. She didn't even know what it was at first. When she had it decoded, it turned out to be a recording, not of Michael, but of herself. Her own voice when she was a child, singing a line she couldn't remember ever recording. They can't hear you if you scream inside. That line stayed with her. It was more than a song. It was a warning disguised as a lullaby.
Decided to search Diddy's newly renovated bedroom. When they moved the bed, they allegedly found a tunnel hidden under a rug and discovered children's clothes inside the passage.
You're not going to believe this, but there is, in fact, a Diddy
and Michael Jackson connection.
Social media users have since raised questions about Michael Jackson's death, with some calling for a reopening of his case and alleging Diddy's involvement.
In his final will, Michael had added a sentence in his own handwriting. It wasn't typed, just a small line in ink squeezed into the margin near the section about his children's inheritance. It said, "No inheritance may be used to activate the Velvet Clause." No one knew what the Velvet Clause was back then, not the lawyers, not the press. It sounded like a poetic phrase, or maybe a typo. But years later, as Paris told her story in court, the meaning started to unfold. He knew there were contracts out there, written in soft words but hiding sharp intentions. He knew there were systems designed to turn artists into symbols and children into vessels, and he wanted to make sure his daughter never signed her name to something she couldn't see clearly. Michael didn't fight with threats or power, he fought with music, with riddles, and with love hidden inside strange places. He wasn't just warning her, he was giving her a way out before the curtain even rose. Paris's testimony has opened new avenues in the investigation into alleged psychological manipulation and control within the music industry. Federal agents have ordered a forensic review of Jackson estate archives and are verifying Velvet Clause documents across multiple labels. One DA stated this just blew open an entirely new line of investigation. The Jacksons are no longer just victims, they're whistleblowers. Michael Jackson tried to warn the world through his music, but perhaps he knew they'd only listen when it was too late. Thanks to Paris, his voice echoes once more, not just in song, but in truth. If you found this video insightful, please like, share, and subscribe. Let's continue to uncover the stories they tried to silence.